Hi, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com, and my message today is don't just sit with it, clear it. I know a lot of people, some of whom I respect a great deal, who believe that when challenges are rising, they're feeling sadness or anger or fear or whatever it is, their method is just to sit with it without resistance and just to be with that state for as long as it's there. And there are some venerable practices like Vipassana and other paths that that's the method they prescribe, and they say just be with the thing until it finally fades away. And there is some truth that sitting with something with simple presence can eventually clear it, but I've learned that it can go faster. Ayahuasca definitely taught me this. I've been working with this wonderful plant spirit teacher for like 16 years, and I've learned that she can clear in a matter of hours or even minutes sometimes stuff that you could sit with for years and not fully clear. So she gave me the revelation that things can clear fast. And I've also learned since then that there's more ways than drinking ayahuasca to do that. So my premise and the foundation of a lot of my work is that why sit and suffer with something for an extended period when you can, without compromise, without shortcutting anything important, clear that thing much more quickly and come into a state of happiness and luminosity and joy. I acknowledge that shadow work shouldn't be shortcutted. I'm not talking about a spiritual bypass. I'm talking about do something efficient and effective that works through that stuff and clears it. Let me just give you a variety of ways this can work. I've already mentioned ayahuasca. There's a whole group of plant spirit teachers who are psychoactive. You can work with ayahuasca, San Pedro, also known as Huachuma, peyote. If you're really hardcore, you can do something like iboga. I've done some fabulous work with psilocybin mushrooms that's been very healing. So these profound things that move into altered state can be profound accelerators of healing as well. If you want a fabulous book that goes into this, Michael Pollan's recent book, How to Change Your Mind, is a fabulous general introduction to this kind of work. That's Pollan for the spelling of his name. What about stuff you can do that's legal, assuming you're here in the US? A fabulous way of doing this work is breath work. Years ago, Stanislav Grof pioneered holotropic breath work when he could no longer do LSD psychotherapy in the 60s. And he discovered that if you have powerful, intense music playing and you do powerful breathing, you can have very powerful breakthroughs very rapidly. And in fact, I'll mention a lot of these things I mentioned I actually incorporate into my Awakening Plus membership, but there's all sorts of other ways to get to these things too. So breath work done rapidly with the intention of the breath work catalyzing a spontaneous shamanic journey is a fabulous way to accelerate healing. Hypnosis is a wonderful way too. It's not a modality I work with much, but a good hypnotherapist can take you back to the root of a trauma and get you there in a way that doesn't trigger you too much. You can work with it more easily. Back to plant spirit for a minute. There's now, stage 3 trials going on at places like Johns Hopkins University, where they're using MDMA to allow people to go back to traumas and deal with them without being re-triggered and heal them. And MDMA is another great way, in addition to plant spirit teachers, to work with these sorts of things. There's also forms of therapy that are real good. There's a lot of them. The one I'm really excited about these days is internal family systems therapy, which has a very specific method for going to the traumatized part. And they say unburden it, release it, this part that, at a certain age was traumatized, split off from your main personality. And that poor part is just there endlessly reliving the trauma. But your main self is not usually aware of it. But you can go to this part and unburden it, reintegrate it into the internal family that's within you, and regain all this vitality and great energy that's been lost because of that traumatic split. So these are just a number of ways. And so my basic message here is that if you've been of the belief that, this trauma is going to be with me forever, I can never heal it, I'll never get over this sorrow, this grief, this loss, maybe not. Maybe there is an effective way, whether you choose psychedelics or whether you choose breath work, or you choose internal family systems therapy, whether you choose hypnosis, whether you choose any of the dozens of other wonderful modalities. Don't take it for granted that you have to keep in suffering. At least be willing to give it a try to say, maybe there is a way to work through this more quickly. Now, one of the rules of this kind of shadow work is a phrase coined by Carl Jung many decades ago. It means facing your traumas. Don't just run from them or try to cover them over. Go right to it, face it, and use one of these effective modalities to clear it. So shadow work can be done much more rapidly than a lot of people think possible. I know I've done it myself, and I've guided many, many clients into doing that as well. So that's my main message. You don't have to necessarily sit with the trauma forever. Maybe you can clear it quicker with no loss of anything, no shortcut, no compromise. The full learning from the experience will be there for you. And that's really a foundation of the way I do shamanic healing work, and also a foundational element of my Awakening Plus membership. And let me just mention briefly, inside that membership, there is a self-guided course where my voice guides you through a full internal family systems therapy session. It has breathwork events where I've got several in the archive already, where we have this amazing recorded music mix, 60 or 80 minutes, and you breathe powerfully with the music, and you have the kind of breakthroughs I'm talking about. Now, obviously, I can't do plant spirit work inside Awakening Plus, but we have these other great modalities that can help a great deal. I also, I forgot another thing that's really foundational to what I do, a healing invocation. You can actually say a few words to your higher self, relax, and the higher self can come in, stir up whatever it is, and flush it away, possibly permanently. And that is available in my free Invocation Masterclass. So I'm going to put links under the video, but let me just verbally tell you quickly how to get to these things. To get to that free Invocation Masterclass that includes that healing invocation, just go to astroshaman.com. On the menu bar, the last word's invocations. Click or tap that word, and it'll take you to something that explains how the free Masterclass works. You do it self-guided at your own pace. And you can do that anytime you want. It is totally free. If you want to check out Awakening Plus, where all these amazing resources are there, in addition to a bunch of live events we do, an archive of over 350 recorded events, most of which can help you with your healing, just go to awakeningplus.com. That's awakeningplus.com, and check that out. So again, I am excited to be able to offer methods where people can accelerate their healing. Of course, there's lots of other ways to do it. I just encourage you to find whatever person, whatever method, whatever system works best for you, because there's a lot of great ways to accelerate healing. And that is my message for today. As I said earlier, I'm Benjamin Bernstein. My main site is astroshaman.com, where I individually work with people for astrology, shamanic healing, internal family systems, inspired therapy, other stuff, life coaching. And again, the membership, where all this is done for an incredibly low price, and you can do it $1 for 30-day trial, is awakeningplus.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you infinite blessings.